Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BLEAV50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Gentlemen, it was like a little mini spring break we had for this for the last time we saw each other on the show.
Good break, yeah.
Wow.
Got some good games in there too. So
Sixers have been on a nice little break too.
Yeah, 5 days off. Eric, did you ever have like in season, like not before All-Star break, like a break that was this long, and then you're playing a game at home on a Sunday, then you're playing a game at home on a Friday? I mean, it's a whole week off. I
think it's possible. I don't remember having that long of a break. I would lean towards no, because our season was shorter. Then we started 2 weeks later than they start now with the same amount of games.
Right.
So I would think that I don't remember having more than 2 days off, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
No. And then I know it definitely didn't happen on road trips. Like, we didn't have that many days off in between.
Mm-hmm.
Homestand, you probably played on Thursday and then played again on Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Other than that, I don't believe anything was longer than that.
It's a long time off. Hey, good for Harden at least that he gets 5 days to
a
week.
Out of the game. Yeah.
Do you think with Embiid, because we'll get into it more so, but winning the last 3 out of 4 and Embiid kind of being on that tear that he was, do you think it was a good thing that he had the 5 days off, or does it just takes him out of rhythm that he was kind of in?
Yeah, I mean, the best medicine in professional sports, especially in the NBA, is days off. That's the best medicine you can get. The rest of your body recover, and how you approach it will determine, how much it'll benefit you. That's the best situation you can have, because you don't have to take a day off of a game. You can just take, let the schedule give you the day off.
So that will really help him with the 5 days that he needs it, man. That was
definitely.
All right, so that leads us into perfectly to our first topic. So Embiid did have a special weekend, 101 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists, 9 blocks, 3 steals in 2 wins over Atlanta and Utah. Now, we kind of had some people were saying Embiid's washed. I mean, not washed, but some people were saying Embiid's done. Harden's like the main guy of this team now. But my question to you guys is Embiid back, the MVP, the runner-up MVP the last 2 years? And will he have to kind of keep this up for us to win without James Harden?
Well, he showed it. I mean, I think that, the way that he played this past week is why we were asking, was he injured? Because we seen the difference.
Yeah.
But I think he kind of squashed that. Now, whether he can maintain that level, hopefully he can. But I do believe that what we've seen, a lot of teams didn't have answers for him. So I would expect teams to now, start seeing more double teams and start a little more gadget defenses that's going to make it a little tougher. And now I think that he'll have to adjust to that, as well as trusting some of his teammates to help him out as well. But I think he'll continue it. I just think that, what you'll face now is, like I said, the different approaches to him, where people kind of seeing that, okay, this, instead of trying to let him play one-on-one and, do all that, I think that he will continue to get that heat I just hope that, usually when he gets a lot of double teams, his way of kind of avoiding them is to start drifting out to the perimeter. So hopefully, the balance for that and then being inside and out, isn't necessarily too high, but he's able to kind of still be dominant because he draws so much attention and opens things up, the closer he is to the rim. And as far as him having to maintain that, I don't think that he has to maintain that for us to win. But it definitely helps. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I just think that if he's consistent, his percentages are still high. We're taking care of the basketball. He's proven that he's dominant, and the teams can't defend him one-on-one. So I think he's going to always be a threat. He doesn't have to necessarily score 30 or 59 points in the game for that to happen. But he still can be dominant in other ways based on how he's being defended. So I think that he still has to continue his dominance, but I do not think that he needs to score 40 or 50 points for that to happen.
Is that one of the more complete games that you've seen in a while? Because, I mean, to do what he did on top of having seven blocks, so it's not like he was just hot and he just couldn't miss and he had like 12 3-pointers, right? Like it
crazy. Almost seemed personal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it almost did. Like, like he had a beef with somebody. But
I love how active he's.
Yeah, right. I don't know for certain. I don't know if he did. I mean, maybe
but if he played mad, you're right.
Yeah, but sometimes it's something triggers you. But I think that he had it going, but outside that, it still kind of seemed personal to me. So
maybe it was for that Keith Pompey article.
Yeah.
I will hope that's not the trigger for you.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, man, don't go on social media then. That's the trigger.
Yeah.
He's responded back that twice already in two different post games since that article came out. He's responded back saying that Harden's my guy. We can't wait to have him back. Not actually responding to the article, but pretty much kind of saying that I can't wait till I have Harden back. We're a better team with him, and I can't wait to have him back. We miss him. But we're gonna do what we have to do to win until he gets back. I mean, so he's kind of subtly, maybe.
So he said that after a win too, right?
Yeah, the last two wins actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So you eliminate all of that. We can win without him. The same like when we won without Joel. That's how you all do, Marcus.
and them after the game too, man. I mean, they're clearly not at odds with each other, and they clearly don't have any weirdness. It's like we know Joel pretty well at this point as far as personality on the court, off the court. When he doesn't like somebody, we know when he has a problem. Like we know the quotes he has. We know he doesn't really hide it that much. So we're all a good judge because he kind of wears it on his sleeve. We're all a good judge of when he has a problem with somebody. And he doesn't have a problem with him. I just I don't see that at all. They're tight. They look tight, So as far as his play, I mean, he was unbelievable. And yeah, like you were saying, it's just such a relief to have him back and being himself again, right? It's so nice. He looks light on his feet. He was quick. He was getting up to blocks, man, so fast. He was so active on defense. I liked that he was both games, more so in Utah, though. He made a hard effort to get deep post position. Yeah. He get the ball really deep, and it was just too late. Like they really couldn't do anything at that point. He was so deep in near the paint, and it was just like turn around and go up. I think he is back. I just want to see. I still want us to be smart with his minutes in general because I don't think he's fully in shape, and he still has the shoulder problem. So it's funny. Like 4 days ago, 5 days, or no, not 5 days ago, 3 days before. I think the first game, late last week. He was saying he couldn't raise his shoulder on some blocks, and then he has two of his better games the last year. It's just funny that we forget. Oh man, his shoulder's fine. It's probably not fine. It's probably still killing him when he wakes up sometimes, right? So he still does have that. So the 5 days hopefully helped that a lot. So the Harden part of the question. So I saw that without Harden, the best defensive team in the league since he's been out. Number one, with 29 in offense. So I attribute that to, I mean, yeah, obviously not having James, but not just beyond not having James, not having a real point guard. I think it's just really, really hurting us. And I said that weeks ago that is it now going to put pressure on us to maybe add someone, a point guard off the bench who kind of more of a floor general? What do you guys think as far as what has to change for that to improve?
The offense, I mean,
Yeah, just better balance, really, because I mean, first defense and pretty much last at offense. It's brutal.
I just think that we know people complain about James holding the ball, but what you have is more control over defined roles. I think it's a lot more random play when he's not in there. Like they come down, you may be like, oh, okay, like how are we gonna score this time? Or how are we gonna score the next time? Like we're talented enough to do it, but it's almost like, okay, your turn, my turn.
Or they're waiting to see who comes off their man to double Joel.
Yeah, and then I think another thing that I think is sort of underrated when James plays is Maxey's ability to get ahead of the defense in transition when James brings the ball to the court.
Yes.
We get a lot of baskets and flatten the defense a lot from that. But when Maxey's the primary ball handler, you don't get that as much because no one else is really getting ahead of the defense and flattening the defense like that. Unless, Joel or somebody, Trez or somebody are running and getting the early posts. Outside of that, we don't really get it. Yep. So I think the transition baskets is a piece of that too.
Yeah.
So kind of talking about the inconsistency from the 1 to 29. I think this does kind of answer a little bit of what you're talking about, Teja, kind of the bench help that we're not really getting. So our next topic. So I saw a tweet from Harrison Grimm, one of the Sixers beat writers. He said the Sixers are dead last in bench scoring at 23.7 points per game. The next closest team is 27.6 points per game. But it's not all bad. There's some good stats here. As Teja mentioned, one in first in scoring since Harden. But now you got 10th in steals, 13th in blocks.
Bench, right?
Yeah, bench. Yeah, 10th in steals, 13th in blocks, and have a top 10 true shooting percentage. So my question is, you got some good, you got some bad. And like everything, there's a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. But how worried are you about the bench on a scale of 1 through 10?
So you got a top 10 true shooting percentage, but last in scoring.
Yep.
So what does that tell you?
Not enough shots.
It's the number of attempts.
You've been saying this for a long time too.
I've been saying they probably will stay in that position because you have high volume shooters in your starting lineup, and you have 3 of them. And in some ways, you have 4. Because Tobias should be. We've been saying he needs 15 shots a game. So if he's getting 15 and he's shooting the fewest of the 3, where are the shots coming from? Like PJ Tucker starts and he barely gets shots.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't see that changing, and I don't think that the true shooting percentage shows that it's not about the ability to make shots. It's just the ability to get the attempts.
Yeah, so they're not ineffective. They're just not. It's just
the shots just aren't there.
It's not a big sample size.
They just aren't there. Maybe if some minutes kind of went up with some guys, it may increase. I think if Melton maybe goes back to the bench, that could increase.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just don't see it happening. I just don't. I really don't. Even the guy like Montrez, who in the past, some of his best years off the bench has been a focal point of the offense, and he's not getting the kind of touches that he's received in the past.
No.
So I don't think that'll happen. I think that from a role standpoint, I still think just guys kind of knowing their role and being more lower starring in that role a little more, I think things could get better. I still kind of feel like guys are a little unsure about what they're supposed to do as far as you just see a little confusion in some plays when you watch the game. And some of that is just, I don't think they really practice as much together. And I think it's just needs some more time. But I still think it's a lot of duplicate positions, guys that are playing out of position because somebody else plays the position that they should be playing. But I just think to go back to the point, I just think it's the number of attempts is the issue more so than them being able to score.
Daniel House kind of alluded to what you said a second ago, as far as just getting it together and getting on the same page and having more ball movement. It's like it's correctable. We just need to just have more better ball movement and have a better sense of where everyone is. Would you? I mean, I think being last sucks at bench scoring, but being last and being top 10, almost top 10 in those three categories, it's pretty good trade-off, I think, right? I mean, I would,
Yeah, I mean, it's different because you look at some teams, and they have a guy like Tyrese Maxey that comes off the bench.
Yeah.
So just look where we would be if he was a sixth man.
Yeah.
Same amount of minutes, but just was a sixth man.
Mm-hmm.
So it could change, but like we have, our top scorers and our top scorers by a mile, all in the starting lineup.
All of our points come from them.
Yes.
It's crazy. And when one's out, then it just the next highest guy just siphons,
just shoots it more.
It takes So like Tobias goes from like 10 shots a game to like 14 shots a game.
Yes.
Maxey shoots like 2 more. Embiid shoots like 2 more.
Yes.
Those shots aren't really going there. It's like everyone's taking it. The crumbs fall to like Niang under the.
It goes from 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And 4, and then 4 moves to 3, and then it goes from 1, 2, and 3, and no 4.
I've also noticed too. Since Harden's been out, it's like the big three do their scoring, and then like one guy, they rely on like one guy to set himself aside for that particular night. Like against the Suns, it was Niang. He had 21.
Yeah, but that one guy may be a starter. You know what I'm saying? He may not be a bench guy.
Yeah. So then like the Hawks, no one really stepped up, which is partly why we lost. Shake had 11 against the Hawks the second time. Jazz, I mean, pretty much no one scored except for Embiid in that game. So, I mean, I think Tobias had 8, or Max had 18. Tobias had 8. Shake had 6, and everyone else on the team had 5 or less. So it's like that game was just, I mean, the Embiid. I'd say 6.5 out of 10. I'm not really worried because it's being productive. The bench is being productive. It's just not scoring a lot of points. Yeah. There's other ways to do that. And when you have a top heavy team, hey, at least that means they're filling in the roles elsewhere. They're getting their hands out, they're getting in front of people, they're playing defense, they're stealing, they're deflecting, they're blocking, and they're being efficient with the shots they do have. So, I'm not too upset. I think we could improve it if we do have a roster spot open, so we could get a bench score. I think we will at some point too. I think that's what something they're going to get, something off the bench. That will help. So we're missing something right now, obviously. So I think we can add that at some point this season, either via trade or free agent pickup. So again, going back to what I think another point guard off the bench, a real point guard would help. I do think that would help us. I just don't think Melton plays well in spurts. I just don't. He's not a point guard. He's not a real, I think, true point guard.
No, I mean, but is it Maxey supposed to be that guy? I mean, that's what we talked about all off season now.
I think Maxey,
right, Marcus?
All the growth.
That's what you said now.
I think Maxey can play point guard. I don't think he is a point guard. There's a difference there, though, right? Like, isn't there a difference there?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Just because you can bring the ball up doesn't make you a point guard. Mm-hmm. But point guards nowadays, it's different definitions for them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rashad Phillips, my guy who been saying for years that we need to rename the whole positions. So I'll send y'all a link, man. He got a good little concept going on.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
yeah, so it is so like you say point guard. Well, I mean, they all kind of point guards from a sense. I would say more of a different style of guard. More of a set up the offense, get guys set,
A floor general.
Yeah, yes. So that's the traditional point guard from a standpoint.
We only have one on the team.
My boy Shot calls it. Yeah. Yes, but they don't have that. So
yeah,
that would help, but that would also take from some other guys playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like who are you going to take out? But I think that can be controlled a little bit by style of play. You know, a coach can control that if he wants to. You know, it may cause you to slow down some and play a little slower. Well, if you don't have a layup, you know the old Larry Brown play. Larry Brown way, you don't have a layup, we run a set. We transition into a set, or unless you got a layup. So it kind of depends. I mean, some people nowadays, if they don't have a layup, they just transition right into flow, and they just flow, and then you just throw the ball to the other side, and people move and move. They think they're doing anything, but all they do is set in the pick and roll on the other side. That's all they're really doing.
Well, it's flip that, Eric. Now it's if you don't have a three, they do all those things.
Yeah, I mean, they just say freedom of movement and positionless basketball. It's the same stuff.
It used to be layup.
All you did was you take the big guy instead of him being down low and you sit him up top. It's all the same except for that. That's really the only difference. They just have your big, or you have your big get the rebound, bring it up, give it to somebody. Same thing. You just spread everybody out. But at the end of the day, it's still the same. You try to get the ball to your best player in the position for him to score.
Yeah.
So that's what you try to do. And the defense try to get your best player out of his best position and try to put the ball in the hands of the weakest offensive player and try to get him to score. That has not changed the NBA no matter what kind of style they throw out there. That's what you want to do. So who's going to be able to make teams turn the ball over, speed them up, rebound, do all the other stuff? It matters. That's why playoff basketball, everybody say playoff basketball is different. Well, that's why, because the game slows down, because all the possessions are fewer because of the focus on and attention that people put on you because you're playing the same opponent, so they know all your stuff.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say we got to necessarily play that brand of basketball right now, but if you're saying you want to be able to do what you're saying, Teja, if you don't have that type of guy, that's how you can do it. But I don't see us doing that because I think that kind of limits Maxey. But that's why you do see when James plays, he's a little more like controlling things, slowing things down, because that's kind of what's needed. And at the same time, Maxey is good and accelerates when he gets ahead of the defense. So it's just a balance. I just think it's a balance from what we need to do. And I think Maxey can do it, but I just think that right now he is just go, 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 go.
Yeah. They're probably telling him that too. We need you to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's just go, go, go. So
right now,
it's going to be hard to kind of do that. And then I think shaking those other guys, they can handle the ball and run things, but I think they really just score first.
Yep.
Yeah, and I've seen some Sixers fans say we should go into looking into getting Kemba Walker. It's like that doesn't floor general wise. Yeah, that wouldn't really help us as a floor. We need like a floor general off the bench. I mean,
but Kemba can run your team. He can do that. He just scores, but he can run a team now. I mean, to say he can't. I mean, I would say he would be better at running the team than the guys that we have. Maybe outside of James.
Yeah.
He may not be a better player than Maxey right now, but I think he's a better as far as what we're having a conversation about with his experience.
So you guys would both be on board for a Kemba Walker acquisition?
I'm not saying Kemba is the guy. I'm just saying someone. You just gave him as an example,
right?
And I'm just saying he would be a better fit for what we're talking about.
Mm.
But I don't know. Like I don't know what
I think it'll be a little short-sighted.
What type of guy you can, because I think the guy that you get has to pretty much come in understanding that he's the third PG, because James coming back, most likely that guy's not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Kemba Walker wants to be in that role. You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably wants to be in the role where he's the number 2 guy, hopefully number 1 guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's guys out there. I mean, Milwaukee has a guy like that. They picked up the Brooklyn just let go, Carter. Yeah. So there's guys out there.
He's played great for them in Jrue Holiday's absence, by the way.
Yeah. And he might not even be playing if they were healthy. That's the crazy thing about it. Yeah. But now he's kind of worked himself into that position that I don't think they can push him out of the lineup. No, out of the, so we'll see.
He definitely earned minutes now. Yep.
So you mentioned Milwaukee. That gets us into our game picks, our final topic here. So Sixers taking on Milwaukee, rematch of our home opener. Actually, I think it was the second game of the season where we lost 90-88. So surprisingly about this, the spread here, it's a 1 point. It was 2 points yesterday. Now it's a 1 point, 76 or a 1 point favorite tonight on ESPN against the Milwaukee Bucks. So my question, who do you guys have tonight and what's going to be different this time around, other than the fact that we don't have James in this one?
We're going to win.
All right.
I'm not going to do the opposite thing today.
It's a genuine
I just think that we will do a solid job on Giannis, having multiple guys being able to play him, Joel at the rim. But I just think that Joel will keep up his streak, get Lopez and Biggs in foul trouble, and we'll pull it out.
I was just looking at the last 4 games of third quarters because I'm just curious. We won 1 out of those 4 third quarters. Man, I'm doing a third quarter bet tonight. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. I think we win. I'm going to say 91-87. I think it'll be pretty low scoring. I think it'll be like a defensive game, especially with what our numbers are right now. Milwaukee, I mean, I don't see them lighting it up tonight. If Jrue plays, that'll be a big boost for them. But I don't think he even played last time we played them, and I mean, they won. So it probably gives them some confidence of like, well, last time we played them, they didn't win. So
no, he did play. He did play last time.
He did play?
Yep.
Yeah.
What was I just looking at then?
He had 6.
Oh, there he is.
6 and 4 of that game.
Oh, he was 2 of 15, so it was almost like he didn't play. So there you go. He probably would have been better off sitting that game for him. We probably actually almost came back because of him. So yeah, I think we win 91-87. I think it'll be a low scoring game. Yeah, I think we kind of have to win this. They beat us. If they win this, they swept us at home, right?
Yeah,
that would not be good. That would not be good. Especially if we're talking about if we are going to make a run to win some games and climb the standings, it'd be nice to kind of even it out here before we have to play in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And will this be our first time over 500 on the season? I feel like we keep getting to 500 and then we keep getting an L when we get to the 500 marker.
Well, we start off 1-4, so that was quite a
yeah.
I don't think we have.
Wow.
0-3, 1-3. 1-4, 2-4, 3-4, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6, 5-6, 5-7, 6-7, 7-7.
Wow. It's a big game for us, to break that 500. That's
back to game 0 again. We've had a few game zeros this year. Here we go. Try it again.
From here.
Break through the surface, baby.
Nice win.
Yeah. And then lastly, so the game we play tomorrow night will be the last game we have until we see each other again on Tuesday. We play Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow night at home. Spread hasn't come out yet. They haven't released it yet. But what do you guys have in that one tomorrow night?
Back to back at home. tough. Minnesota hasn't been playing well, but I think that I think we can win that one too. But that's the game I think is going to be a slow down game. I think they're going to try to come in and run, but that back, I think it'll be a sluggish, slow down game that we pull out in the end.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting game, back to back. Yeah, I mean, we had 5 days off, so hopefully,
Yeah, they couldn't make one of those games spread out.
Yeah, come on, give it Wednesday or something, or Thursday and Saturday. What is that? That's stupid scheduling. That's just dumb.
I mean, it's building availability. Sometimes the other teams, so it's interesting.
Well, I mean, when they played the Cavs and Magic. And then they have today off. They played on the 13th and then the 16th. So it was a little spread out. Well, yeah, they could have. I don't know. Yeah. It's not my job. I think that's a tough game, man. Who the hell are we gonna put on Cat? Or are they gonna put Tobias or TJ on Gobert and put Embiid on Cat? That's
no, I think they put Tobias on Cat. I mean, he don't post up very much, man. He said said he's the best 3-point shooting big man of all time.
Good, keep doing it. Keep trying that. Keep trying to live up to that.
I mean, that's what he said. So I mean, if he's saying that, I mean, he's not saying that then living on the post.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Cavs at Cleveland, and that's a pretty good matchup for them because the
Cavs have, been struggling since they lost out west.
Yeah.
And Cavs have today Mobley.
Yeah, I believe they all played.
Allen didn't play.
Allen didn't play?
That would have been big for them because they could have put Allen Mobley on Cat Gobert. It would have totally neutralized. So that did make a difference. Damn, Garland had 51 that game. I didn't even know that. Oh.
Well, I don't think Mitchell didn't play that game either, right? When he had 51.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes, they were without Mitchell, and they were okay. There you go. That win takes a little out of there, but they were killing them. It looks like Cleveland outscored them 40-25 in the final quarter to make it with a 5-point game. So they were up by 20 going into that quarter. So that's they were handling them. I'll say, dude, I think the game's gonna be real close. I'll say, give us a very close victory there. I'd say within 3 points. But I like this. I mean, Tobias is questionable tonight with a hip. After being all 5 days, what'd you hurt your hip doing? Playing video games? What? What?
He doesn't play. That means it's more serious than they putting on.
That's a little scary. That's what's scary about it. He wasn't hurt last game. Now all of a sudden 5 days off and he's questionable on Friday. It's like
either it's he hurt it. It's hurt worse, or he hurt it during practice.
Yeah,
the game.
That sucks. That's huge for us if we're without him.
Well, you guys see our depth in that position, though. We got a lot of guys similar to that in that spot that can plug and play there. So
if Tobias doesn't play and a guy like a non-starter comes and start, would that be bench points?
Ooh.
Technically, it would not count as bench points. It's going to be someone else besides Maxey and Embiid shooting, though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm just asking because it's how do they do bench points when that guy whoever doesn't start, or because the guy can win 6-man and they look at his points for the season and he started 30 games.
Yeah, they
stick to whoever bench for that
off
game.
The bench.
Yeah, they stick by the book. Yeah. I'd like to do that.
That's a good point, though, Eric. The 6-man who starts a lot of the games, they're looking at his total points per game and his all stats. I mean, they're not looking at the stats where he comes off the bench. Yeah.
Yes.
They can make it a subcategory, though. How many points you had coming off the bench, your points per game coming off the bench versus what you had when you started. They could do that.
I bet you'd see a lot of different awards over the past 10, 15 years if you did it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if one guy averaged 14 a game and he played 81 games at the actual 6-man off the bench, and then another guy averaged like 20 points, but he started half the season. It's like, well, 6-man, I don't know. You're kind of the 5th and a half man, actually. So, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, another thing too, I was going to say earlier is that Phoenix and Utah are both, I believe, top 10 in offensive efficiency. So those are good. Our defense buttoned up and played really well in those games. So it's nice to see the defense come around because our defense looked atrocious to start the season.
Now you're gonna have people say Harden was the root of all the bad with our defense when he comes back. If our defense looks like crap again, everyone's gonna blame it on him.
I guess you could blame the good offense on him too, then, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, it's one or the other. So
take the good with the bad.
Who do you think they start if Tobias doesn't play against Gobert and Cat? Do they go big? Tonight would be a little more normal. They could probably start whoever they want, but
I think they'll go big. I think they'll start
Paul Reed or something.
Paul Reed, yeah.
Paul Reed's someone that you could definitely put on Cat. That's a good matchup for him.
Reed he's gonna get a spot against Giannis. Because I remember last year he in like that 6-minute span that all the Sixer fans like take a picture of like Giannis' stats when Paul Reed was playing against him for those 3 minutes.
Paul Reed's Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right, fellas. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav In 76ers presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys on Tuesday as we preview the Ben Simmons return game. Wait, actually, it's in Philly or is it in Brooklyn?
I believe it's Philly, right?
Yeah, it's Philly. The Ben Simmons return game. Woo! Can't wait.
Well, all right, we can do our predictions next. So I was going to say, do we think he's going to play? But let's do that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure
actually, they'll probably know by then if he's going to play or not.
He's going to play.
He'll play.
He's going to play?
Yeah, he'll play.
Got
to get it over with. He'll play.
All right. Boy. Well, we'll preview that game on Tuesday. So we'll see you guys. Have a good weekend.
All right. Take it easy.
Hold on, guys. Enjoy.